All right. Yes. All right. I haven't done this on live before, so this is going to be interesting. And I'm probably going to talk to myself way too much because that's always what I do when I'm talking to a camera and no one's talking back to me. Okay. Before I start doing things, let me kind of give the rundown of what's going on, go over all the tools that I'm going to be using, how this process is going to work. So today we are pulling Gladys's egg sac right here in the corner. Whoop. The slings hatched on the 28th. So they have been in there a couple of days. This is the stage at which I pull my egg sac. So it's before they are leaving the nest. So I'm not having to like wrangle all of them and try and, find rogue ones inside the enclosure, but it's after the eggs have hatched. So in preparation, what I have is my big communal bin. So this is what they're going to go in. I have it labeled with mom, clutch number, lay date, hatch date, species, so that I can keep track of all of my different ones. And then I've gone around and I have drilled ventilation holes in the upper and lower portions. I use a 1.1 millimeter drill bit so that the slings, when they come out, aren't able to fit through the vent holes, because I've gone a little too big on that before and had to modify with some paper medical tape to prevent escapees. Because yes, they are very, very, very small when they come out. So anything that's like bigger than 1.5 millimeters can be an escape issue. The bins that I'm using have clear lids that seal all the way around. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be laying paper towel down over them, getting it damp for humidity. And then I'm going to be flipping this over and orienting it upside down so that it is, here is, one of our Regal clutches that we just pulled the other day. So you can see kind of up back there is the egg sac. They haven't come out yet. I'm not really expecting them to come out for another week or so. But when they do, they are contained. They have everything they need. They can start spreading out. And that's when I will put flies in so that they don't eat each other. The trick to a communal bin is you want to make sure that you have ample space for them to spread out. You don't want them to be clustering close together, because what will start to happen is they'll get defensive and they'll just kind of like stay in one spot and they won't like want to move around to, go hunt and eat and stuff. And then they'll just kind of like starve themselves to death, which isn't cool. So you want to make sure that they're actually dispersing. And sometimes after I have a clutch leave the nest, they all kind of like to gravitate up towards the corners. So once they do that, I'll go in and take like one of my bigger soft paint brushes and kind of like poof, 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 and just kind of get them to, or I'll like blow on them a little bit, so that they start using different areas and not nesting quite so closely together. Because the older they get, the more they'll start to figure out kind of those like, oh, I can eat you. And that's when you want to start separating, is when they become cannibalistic. We keep them communal until like I4, I5, or if we see someone who is getting a little too cannibalistic early or out competing other ones for resources, start pulling the bigger ones out into individual enclosures. The deli cups with a little corkscrew pipe cleaner in there, which is eventually what they'll all go into once they are big enough to transfer around I4, I5. Okay, did I forget anything? All right, here we go. I am going to move my lid back out of the way here and bring my communal bin back up here. I have the Excelsior in the bin, so I'll put the egg sac on there, and then I'm going to pick up the Excelsior with the egg sac on it, put it on the lid, flip over the top, and that's how we'll finish everything. Okay, so now on to the actual how we are pulling. I have a little cup here. I'm going to put some water in. Doesn't need a ton. I am just using this to dip my paintbrush in. A soft paintbrush that is a little damp will help you loosen the edges of the sac around where it's anchored. You need to be really careful not to pull on the egg sac, because spider silk is incredibly strong and it's not going to tear, it's going to stretch, and it'll just squish everything that's inside. So you want to make sure that you're like removing things and that you're not actually compacting the slings inside. So I am going to take front door off here. And I'm going to take top lid off there. Nothing's going on there, but if Mama wants to come out and hang out in there, she can. Her food dish is down here in the way, so I'm going to move that first as well. Just take that out of there. Now, she has been coming out, wandering around. She hasn't been guarding the nest as much. She's in there right now, so I'm going to be encouraging her to come out. She might get a little bit defensive, but I'm not too worried about it because I've done this enough times that it's not a really problem. Okay, so let's get a little bit closer look at what's going on here. So you can see her, she's down in the back, and then there's kind of like another like layer of webbing between her and the actual egg sac on the inside. I don't know if you can kind of see that, like almost like pages of silk there. So we're going to encourage her to come out and kind of get out of the way, and then I'm going to work my way around and remove these edges. Because it is down in the substrate, which is something that I've had happen with 2 out of my 3 ardens so far and my Tyrellis, there's going to be a little bit of debris and stuff that comes out with the egg sac, but that's fine. I try to remove as much as I can debris wise, as long as it's not like I try to get as much debris off as I can so that I can see what's going on and that they're not like compacted inside a dirt ball or something when they start trying to come out. But I don't go around picking off every little like piece of sphagnum moss or leaf litter, because if it's not hurting or prohibiting them from getting out, then there's no reason for me to take that risk and keep pulling on the egg sac and stressing them all out and all that stuff. Okay. Other tools. Tweezers. I use these 2 pairs of tweezers. These ones are needle nose, really fine tipped. You can stab yourself on them pretty easily. These ones are much like softer, and they're still a fine tip, but it's rounded at the top. And these are what I use for mostly everything. So I will be using these to very gently like pull back and remove it from the actual like acrylic. It does peel off from the acrylic pretty easily. So if you just go slowly, it should just kind of like a piece of tape. And then I have a pair of hair shears that I use in case I do need to snip little bits of webbing. Now, you want to be really careful doing anything cutting wise when you're, working with little stuff like this, and just go slow, go steady. Don't rush the process and just kind of go with the flow. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to take these leaf steps out of here as well, just so that they're not in my way while I am working on her stuff. Oh, I'm going to have to re-glue that one. That's okay. The rope bridge I'm not going to worry about taking out just because it's not really in my way. And because it's wired through the vent holes. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hey, Mama. You gonna come out? I wish you were already out today. That would have been so much more convenient. Alright, so first I am going to go in here and just start. Let's get rid of that old mealworm piece. Let's make my garbage can more accessible. Ooh. Let's get that piece of food off there from her. Dámelo. Ooh. Okay. Alright, piece of food out of there. I can see that she's starting to kind of climb up and out. I'm going to set this down here. Wait, no, you guys can't see if I do it down there. Okay. Burp. Talk to it. I apologize if I seem shaky. I've only had coffee so far this morning, so. It's not that I'm nervous, I swear. I just always behave like this. Oh, good dog. Get some of that leaf litter back. Alright. I am going to just detach a few of these anchor points that are all the way around the outside edges. This is also why I like working with a light behind it, because then I can see through to what I'm doing and kind of get an idea of what's going on all sides at the same time. Okay, I do need to set this down. I'm going to move the communal bin out of the way just so that I can get a little bit better leverage here. It's not the most convenient spot that I've had one of them lay a sack, that back lower corner. Next week, I will be pulling the other ardens sack, Glady's sack, and hers is right up here in the front in the canopy, which is my preferred place for them to lay it. It's a lot easier for me to get to it when they just put it right up there where I can take the lid off, flip it over, and do that, and then usually leave Mom inside the enclosure during the pulling process. But not this one. This one's down on the bottom. That's all right. Okay. I'm gonna dip my paintbrush in some water. And go in here. And just kind of wipe. Warp. So the water gently detaches the silk anchor points from the wall without pulling on it. You don't want it to be super duper duper wet, because you don't want to get the egg sac wet either, and potentially run into like molding issues or something like that, or if you get it too wet, basically drowning and suffocating the slings inside. But I'm just going around where it's connected to the wall on these far anchor points and just kind of pushing them down. Hey, Mama, are you getting annoyed with me? I'm sorry. It'll be fine. If you want to come out, I promise it'll be a lot easier. Do I always talk to them while I do this? Yes, I do. Do I feel bad that they're getting annoyed with me? Yes, I do. Hey, Mama. Hey, Mama, I know. You know you don't like the paintbrush. That's okay. And you may have heard things like, oh, if you take the egg sac, they get depressed. That's not a thing. They may look around, and kind of like go back to the area a few times, but they lose interest so quickly. They do not have this like strong emotional attachment that is a huge deal, and that you're like doing something awful by getting their slings out of there. Come on, Gladys. Let's go, Mama. Let's go, Mama Bear. Egg points. All things considered, even though she picked a back corner down here, this one's behaving pretty easily. Now, if I waited too long and the slings started emerging, I would have a greater challenge getting the sack out safely. Okay, you're gonna need to come out with it. Come on. Stand by. I'm taking my scissors in here and I'm snipping at some of the moss that is just connected so that I'm not pulling all this substrate out. I'm not touching the actual sack at all. Snip, snip. Snipping the grass away. Okay. Doing good, baby girl. If you are somebody who has some visual impairment and wears glasses, you definitely want to make sure that you've got your nearsighted ones working when you're doing this kind of stuff. every time I detach an anchor point, I just kind of gently brush it away from the acrylic and just kind of start getting it disconnected from everything around it. Come on, Mama. Yeah, come on out. Yeah, come on out. I'm seeing if she's trying to come out right now, or is she going to slam the door shut in my face, like Tiger Lily likes to do. What are you doing, Mama? Hi. Oh, come on out. Oh, come on. Come on. She looked right at me and was like, okay, fine. I understand. I understand you're rubbish to grumpy girls. You're rubbish to grumpy girls. Come on. Gently, gently, gently. A lot of the times the mom will eventually step out and just be like, all right, what is going on here? What's this tomfoolery? My, Gloria, one of my other ardens sacks that I pulled a couple of days ago, she just hung out here and was just eating the whole time, watching me do my thing, like, cool days. Let's go. Didn't get in my way at all. Didn't seem to care at all. Okay, you can't. So now she's getting a little resistant. You're okay, baby girl. You're okay. Just see what's going on with this debris. There's only like one more anchor point in the back that I need to get. Just gonna go up here, down, behind. There we go. Now these are off the wall. I just keep doing this and working my way around until I see that I have successfully detached it from all the sides of the enclosure. And then you're gonna have to come out, Mama. You're gonna have to come out. Come on. Come on. Okay, so here we have Mom in the sack, and they're all still attached to all this debris. So now I'm going to work on getting most of this debris off, and hopefully with any luck, Mom will come back out during that time, and I can put her back in her closure. I'm going to reconfigure real quick while she's not in there. I don't have to work around her. Okay, there's that. Come here, babies. Piece of this. Hi, people. I have literally not even been paying attention to who's on here. Avery, the moms, yes and no. I mean, they can't really stop me from doing it, but some definitely get a little bit more angry than others. Tiger Lily has a tendency to throw a little bit of a tantrum, so I usually give her something to eat so that she's distracted, because once she starts doing that, she stops trying to attack my paintbrush. But she definitely likes to fight back on that one. And yes, yeah, their hammocks are built up very nice and densely when they lay egg sacs or when they molt. And they're a nice little hidey hole. Okay. So I'm gonna go around here and snip away some of these moss and leaf bits first, so I don't have to pull on them. I see my tarantula addict friends. What's up? Hello, how's it going? Hope all your spoods are doing great today. Tell them I said hi. Not you. Almost there. A little bit right here. Excuse me. One more piece. There we go. Does this leaf litter want to come off? Let's see if I don't want to pull too hard on it. Do a very fine little surgical removal of this last leaf, just because it's right over the backside where I'm able to see how the slings are doing at all, and that'll make it easier for me to keep an eye on them in the next couple of weeks before they actually come out of the sack. And Cece always thinks I'm talking to her. God forbid I ever talk to myself. You'd think she'd be used to it by now. I talk to myself all the time. Who else would I talk to? I'm here alone most of the time. Did you ever think it would be such an involved ordeal, such a surgical process? Come here. Trying to grab little tiny pieces of fiber is definitely a challenge. Okay. That's just one leaf. Alright, so once I get this piece of leaf off, it'll be good to transfer it into the bin. I just gotta work on getting Mom out. Now, it wouldn't be the first time that I had a mom stay in the nest with the babies until they started coming out. That happened with Stacy, my Tyrelli, in her first clutch. She didn't leave the nest, and I actually transferred her into the communal bin with them until she came out voluntarily. But because Gladys has been in and out on her own already, I'm seeing if I can get her to leave now. So I'm gonna put her down here, and I'm gonna start giving her just a little bit of encouragement. Come on. Here you go, Mama. Here you go. I know you're annoyed with me, I'm sure. Go on. Beep 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 beep. And the nice thing is that she has been coming out and eating, so she's not in a state of being insanely skinny, which I have had happen. When Stacy came out, I could not get her to eat, and when she came back out afterwards, no, don't go back inside. No, don't go back inside. That's my fault. Back it up. Okay. Egg sack. No. Come on. Egg sack into the bin. All right. Hi, baby girl. All right. Here's Gladys. Whoop. Say hi. Hi, Gladys. You being silly. All right. I'll let her have a little moment to explore. Okay. So we have just placed egg sac in here, whoop, right on top. And I'm going to leave it there until it hatches, but I'm going to pull this Excelsior out so I can flip the bin over once I get her back into her enclosure. So I'm going to put her roof back on real quick. I'm going, hey, mama. Hey, mama. All right. Here you go back home. Put some air debris back in. You can go sit back on your mushroom like you love to do. Go back to watching all of your neighbors. It's my favorite thing that she does. If you've been onto my page, you scroll down and you see the one who's sitting on her little neon yellow and orange mushrooms just watching everyone else. That's her. That's Gladys. Hey, baby. Here, go this way. Come on. Just go back up. You can climb in by yourself. Don't make me put you in. Oh, stop being... Come on. Go up, up, up. Like, all you gotta do is go the other way. I'm slipping. One thing I have noticed with this species in particular is that they struggle to grip acrylic. They are a more arid species, and it seems that species that are more, so they're a desert jumping spider is their common name. So they have a little bit more terrestrial tendencies, which is why they're laying their sacks down below. Here she goes. She'll go back in. All right, so we're going to put Gladys back up here. I'll give her a snack and some water in a second. That's on my way. All right, now we're back onto this part of the process. Okay, so I lay my paper towels one this way and one this way. And that's really just because I have come to find that with just the design of these, that if I put paper towels to where they're coming out of both sides, I don't get gaps. And the gaps have been sufficient for ants to get in before. And ants are the bane of my existence, so everything I do is in an effort to prevent them. They've been at bay for a minute, so that's good, and I haven't had to deal with them around any of my communals since I started doing it this way. But yeah, ants, not my friend. Really, really, really not my friend. If you don't know, I have lost spiders to ants before. Either the spider, had a bad molt or something and was already kind of on its way out, and then I find that out the hard way because the enclosure is full of ants that are disassembling and removing said carcass, which is incredibly traumatizing, and I don't recommend it at all. Okay, here we go. So, last process, got my paper towels. They are damp. This provides humidity, which they need to molt successfully, especially in the earlier stages when they're more vulnerable. And also, when they are out, this isn't relevant right yet because they haven't left the nest yet, but after they leave the nest, they can go down and drink from the paper towel. Water droplets are a drowning hazard, and the smaller a sling is, the smaller a droplet can be a drowning hazard. So you want to use like a really fine mist if it's going on any kind of like wall vertical. And also the paper towel helps it so that if I do get condensation on the sides and droplets are running down, they're being absorbed by the paper towel and not just pooling at the bottom into standing water where I have to worry about one of them walking through and drowning. Their book lungs are on the underside of their abdomen, so even on a vertical surface, if there's a big enough droplet, they can suffocate that way. It's not good. So yes, no big droplets, no water bowls or anything like that, just a fine mist. So now I am going to take this and just plop it right on top. Boom, boom, boom. And push it down into the lid. So now here's what we have. Paper towels all the way around. Got the Excelsior with the egg sac sitting inside of it. We've got the ventilation holes. We've got the identity labels so I can keep track of which one it is. And that's it. That's how you pull an egg sac. Not too complicated. Just need a little bit of patience and some tools. So yeah, hope you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll probably do another live polling for Goldie's sac next week. So if anybody has Q&A, I will do my best to answer those questions during that time. Oh, I gotta put the rest of her decor back in. All right, I'm gonna leave you guys here. Thanks for watching. Check you later. How do I stop this now?